Welcome back to the Hishaku Hideout, a weekly podcast where we talk about the latest chapter and everything Kagurabachi. I'm here with Dice.
Yo.
And today we're getting into chapter 87. Man, let me just say, this chapter is amazing. Let me get the glaze started, get the honey out early. Like, everything I love about this chapter. I mean, we've talked a good bit about it before we started recording. But, I mean, there's just so much to get into. Where you want to start first, Dice?
I mean, I say let's just go through it, right? Let's just run through the events as they kind of unfold. If there's anything that we want to kind of jump to, fuck it, right? But yeah, man, insane chapter. Insane chapter. It's like immediate thoughts just kind of to get the episode going. It's kind of even hard to put it together, but just some crazy development, man.
Azami splatted the samurai guy. Start with that. We
got
Hishaku reveal. We got the whole Hishaku reveal. There's so much in this chapter. And I think, but it starts off talking about the Hishaku, right? And there's very little information. We get the kind of like, he throws us a bone about there being a wide age range, because we know this happened 3 years ago, but the war that like took place 18 years ago. So some of these people don't look like they might have not even been alive for the war, but I don't know. It's just crazy. I like how they just call them phantoms. And I got a crazy theory at the end to kind of go over regarding that.
Oh yeah. I didn't even think of the fact that this makes 10, right? Like are the 10 finally revealed? I completely forgot about that. I didn't really kind of keep count. So does that make 10?
Yeah, it should make all 10 because we still don't have Toto, Hirohiko, Kaguri, and the Hishaku. Yeah, him. And then the samurai guy would be the 5th one, and then there's 5 people there. So yeah, it's all 10.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's yet another thing that gets completely, revealed this chapter. That's insane, man.
Yeah, and we also get the answer of like what happens if someone loses an enchanted blade, like the contract. And we get that answer that their sorcery returns. Uruha's like he's looking at the big villain group, half of them, and he's like, oh, fuck it, I'm about to go in. It's crazy.
Yeah, man. I definitely, I want to talk more about that a bit later, but that is an insane panel. Just, once again, I don't think we've ever seen Uruha like that, right? And I've said that before, but I think this time is really for real.
This chapter elevates like every character that's in it. It elevates every character, even like Kunishige to like some degree, because it's like that old man respects him so much to be like, I want to look the killer of Kunishige in the eye and see what kind of person they are. And then he's like, y'all are really just like run of the mill, like strong sorcerers. They're nothing fancy. And Yura's like, all right, well, let me show you what I'm about.
For real, bro. And that old man got some balls, like
shout out to him.
For real. Like, yeah, man. Shout out to the Kamunabi. They got some riders, they got some riders.
Izaru, that we were right on Izaru the whole time though. Saying he's just like a strong sense of justice type of guy. He's not a traitor. He just has a very stern way, he draws hard lines. And he's like worried about the barrier. He's checking like that dude. He's pretty good character. I think it's also interesting that bald Hishaku guy got the Izaru sideburns. They gotta cut that shit.
Man, these guys got some weird fucking sense of fashion or fucking hairstyle or whatever.
Hey, remember a while back I said there can only be one fedora per group. At least the Hishaku didn't break that fashion rule. If I would have saw a second motherfucker with a fedora, we would have had to change our channel name.
That's true. At least, right?
No, but this is really interesting. We see that Azami is starting to, realize there's something, creepy, there's something fishy going on here. And if you notice, like, I'm a Yura Glazer. That's my second favorite character, right? I'm not a huge Shiba fan. Love Hiyuki though. But I will say now that I just gotta come cleaner, like come to the realization that the Hishaku just really can't fuck with Azami, Hiyuki, or Shiba. That's why they had to put them out of place. They had to give a strong enough opponent for Azami to actually appear at the battleground. That's the only way through. So we know that's why he went there, and Hiyuki and Shiba got sent to guard the sword bearers. It's almost like I'm thinking of the pinky promise that Samura did with Yura, right? Now he has to know Samura's not fucking, not going to do that anymore. So what's he going to do about the other two enchanted blades? Is he even worried about them? Or is he just saying, like, scrap that idea? Now's a good chance for me to go get the Magatsumi.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know, man. I have no idea. I would kind of think that that's why they're pushing the action here, because of that prospect. Like we discussed on the last episode with Shiny. I think that Yura knew Samura just switching sides was a huge possibility, and this was the move to make. So I don't think that's just random, right? And I guess there's the 2 arrows comment that we got into last episode as well. But besides that is the trader, man. Like the trader kind of finally making that move, especially if it's somebody like Hiyuki, right? Would kind of, once again, just kind of switch the tide of things. So I'm expecting something big to unravel soon, and it has to do, directly with kind of this attack on HQ right now, as well as the Swordmaster as well. That's also the big, the one X factor that could, or the wild card, that could kind of trump everything.
Yeah, because with all these events happening, right? We don't know what's happening right now. Like, from the moment the Swordmaster stood up, where does that place in the timeline of, like, the events of right now in this chapter? Like, you know what I mean? Is it happen all simultaneously, like, boom, boom, boom? Or is it like, there's like gaps of, time where this happened 10 minutes before? Because we do see the importance of, like, 5 seconds in this chapter. It's they're counting down from 10. He gets to 5, and then that's when Izaru catches on, and the guy can't hold on no more, and they have to cut 5 seconds. Is that 5 seconds? I mean, we could all be so lucky to last 5 seconds, am I right? But is that 5 seconds going to rear up again later? It's like an important, like, increment of time. I mean, I know it's a very small window of time, but I mean, we're talking people who move, like, fast. It's very different. I mean, that's one thing that I was wondering when I read this chapter.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, we do know in terms of, like, maybe we're all caught up in terms of, like, most recent events, because we last saw Uraha with Hakuri, a couple of chapters back, and then we got the most recent chapter where we switched perspective with, what we just saw from the Swordmaster. So maybe kind of that was, what had happened before, and we were kind of getting caught up to speed through that side of things. But it is tough to say either way. Hokazono is just, once again, a genius in how he keeps multiple things ongoing simultaneously, right? It's hard to kind of really put a finger on the exact timeline of things.
Man, how, like, I don't know how he does it, and it's really, like, a lot of glazing, but, like, I just can't, like, put into words without, like, really sipping the tip. It's he just nails the execution of every, like, chapter, and it's, like, in long spans. Like, I thought chapter 35 to, like, 43 is, like, a masterclass in, like, how to conclude an arc. That's the Rakuzaichi. It's beautiful, like, literally, like, it's just it moved me. But then he's, like, giving us, I don't even remember how long he's been killing it, because it literally feels like since the second to last chapter of the Samura Iori flashback, like 73, 75, it literally feels like he's on, like, a 12 chapter run of, like, great, like, actual, like, greatness.
That's insane. Yeah, no, I wouldn't disagree. I mean, I've enjoyed, obviously, some chapters more than others, but I do not disagree at all with, that statement. He definitely is kind of in his bag, and he's been in his bag for a long time.
The art, I love the heavy art style that he uses in those certain moments, like the very last panel. It kind of has, like, a heavy smear like look to it.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know what this dude's doing. Whatever they fed that motherfucker, like, send that to me. We'll do, like, a loot crate or whatever those monthly fucking the Hokazono health meal.
Oh, man, that's hilarious. Yeah, no, man, I even had to write this down, in terms of, like, how he's able to put this story together. I wrote down Kagurabachi often feels like an action movie in the way that some panels are composed in frames like, you know, they're kind of like frames you would see in a well-shot action flick, you know, and I think that that brings a lot to like the personality of this manga. Like and I've thought about this for a while, but this chapter just once again like you know, re-emphasizes that, because it's not just in the way like some certain moments are composed, but like how we go from scene to scene, you know, or panel to panel, moment to
the framing. He frames the scene so well.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I can't wait to see Keanu Reeves as Chihiro Rakuhira. Yo, but he would be a fire Kunishige though, because he's getting old. Timothy Chalamet as Chihiro Rakuhira.
Tom Holland.
Yeah, fuck Tom.
Oh man. But yeah, man, what else?
Like the Hishaku are just like, they just like booling. They're like in the Kamunabi like waiting room, like at like a doctor's office, chilling. There's a way they're aware that people are hiding, right? Because Yuri knows like, and they're not looking to kill them. They're there for like a goal, and Yura's got them guys like, you know, if Yura is like the actual leader of all this, I have to say, he is like handling his like organization better than like most big villains. I feel like those dudes are just sitting there patiently waiting. They're bored, but they're not like going off like, you know, like Hidan or somebody like in Naruto, or like Kakuzu with money. They'll go do their own thing. These motherfuckers are patiently waiting for Yura to pop in, and like, you know, he got them suited up real nice. And yeah, I mean, Yura's just God. Like that dude, he elevates the manga in my opinion.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I think that moment of you know, with the old man is very telling of like the type of guy he is. It's just like he's the type of guy to like welcome his fate with open arms, and it's like he's so like what is it, like he's so
resolved.
He feels so strongly about what he's doing that like he says like he feels like luck is on his side, and it's the type of mentality like if it's meant to be, like the universe will favor you. And it's such a like dangerous mindset to have, especially when you like keep in mind his other attributes in terms of how like he has the foresight to really kind of just move differently, you know. And oh man, just insane, man, insane.
Like that's a good point, dude, because it's like he plans, right? Like they all talk about like, oh, y'all are basically just sneaky, y'all are just good at that, whatever, y'all crafty, like whatever it may be. Yura's the best at that apparently. Like Yura's making moves and tricking everybody. He's saying like, I did all I could do. I tried my hardest. I got all the things that I had like planned for are going fine. Now all I can do is just put it in fate. Is if, you know, I'll just leave it to you know, put it to chance. We're gonna see like who's got the luck on their side, and Yura gets to go piss with his life. You know, that old man like looked the devil in the eye basically.
Yeah,
and
man,
really he was like, man, I just gotta take a piss. Can you not look at me like that?
But you know, speaking of taking a piss, who's this kid, bro? Who's this?
That's
fucking,
the biggest dick in the Hishaku. That's what that is. Yura told that man, you got the biggest dick, bro, while they were pissing next to each other. Like if there's no other like glaze moment, that dude's gonna die though this arc. That's a death flag if I've ever seen one.
I mean, I hope so. I was fuming, bro. I was like, what do you mean? Like, who is this?
He may be a zombie. He looks like, there's that drawing of Samura when he was 18. He looks like that.
Yeah. That I don't I do kind of see it, because it's kind of like, yeah, I mean, we've talked a bit about this, like the same face syndrome, because I was thinking before you really see their individual panels of the, you know, the 4 Hishaku, we see this chapter kind of like waiting, like you said, in the doctor's office. The Shishaku and the, you know, the new kid, strongest fighter in the Hishaku, they both kind of look like Chihiro, you know, in that one panel where we see them waiting.
Chihiro's cute though, so
but yeah, man, I don't know. I was fuming. I was like, what do you mean? Like, especially when we've seen guys like Hirohiko, you know, and I mean, that might just be because I'm like a big Hirohiko glazer.
Oh yeah, you are.
But fuck out of here, man. Like, who is this kid, dog?
I want to see him and Hirohiko interact because they're both young. You know what I mean? It seems like they might like be punching on each other and shit.
Yeah, that would be a fun interaction, man. But this kid is getting that Masumi hype, man. At least we've seen the Masumi do shit.
That's Ro's older brother.
He looks like such a bitch, bro.
It does look like, excuse me. It does look like every character, like every major character, looks like they could be related to another major character somehow.
Yeah, that's true. But onto like kind of a foreshadowing a bit your crazy theory at the end. Look at his eyes, man. In that one panel where Yura calls him the strongest fighter in the Hishaku. I'm not gonna give much away right now, but his eyes, and that might just be the art, the art style for this chapter. We see him before with normal eyes, right? And actually, no, his eyes do seem kind of like darkened, similar to how we see with Yura this chapter. But just throwing that out there, we'll get to like the Yura stuff and the Master Swordsman as well as your theory in a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, from here on, we see them, they finally make their move. It's like we've been debating, theorizing, discussing where's Yura at? Where's he going? Is he going to get the enchanted blade? Because that was probably a possibility. But the thing is, we know that he's like, this is like Mahito 0.2 second domain. He's like, it's all or nothing. Now, if I was one of those people that think Kagurabachi is going to go for 250 chapters, I'd be like worried because I do not see this going past 200 anymore.
Okay.
Like, I just like it's, what can come of this arc, this invasion arc? Hokazono's proven that people are gonna like die. You know what I mean? They're gonna come and go. So there's gonna be like the fallout of this arc is gonna be what dictates. Like, I mean, obviously that's the what the truth is, but this is like the heaviest, most impactful feeling arc. You know what I mean? Because it's like everyone is now about to be in place. We got the Hishaku in there. How is Chihiro gonna get through? I mean, I guess Chihiro can just run through the battlegrounds, him and Samura, because they can only, the feathers from Owl can only go above ground. Yeah. They're not gonna be able to go underneath ground. So I guess they could teleport there, go through the breach hole, and then they got to make their way through. I could see maybe that happening. And then Hakuri, they appeared right in front of Hakuri. We also know that they didn't pick that location though. Interesting enough. Mm-hmm. So that location, that's something that Yura didn't plan for. So now what's going to happen? It seems like there's a time crunch. So, I personally want to see the young strong Hishaku kid fight Uruha. That's what I want to see, because I think he's going to try and kill Yura, the leader, but I think he's going to step in and be like, nah, son, you ain't going to touch Yura like that.
Yeah, I can see something like that, man. But this definitely got me thinking, like, Uruha is in like a very tough spot right now, and we had discussed way back. Yeah, we discussed way back whether there was a chance of him dying, like actually dying and not coming back this time around. And I believe I said back then, because it's what I still believe, I'm not a fan of characters kind of coming back from death only to kind of die for real. Obviously, like how that kind of stuff is executed makes a big difference, but I didn't think ultimately, like, if I think I said back then that I didn't think Uruha was gonna actually die. And I don't know, man. I don't, he can always, we don't know what his sorcery is, right? Like, we have no idea. I don't know if you kind of got something up your sleeve, but maybe, that can definitely play into how he gets out of this situation, most likely. But he might just go down with the ship,
Yeah, I mean, if he dies here, then he's a character. He's a plot device that was just used to save Hakuri's life. That's why he was brought back.
Interesting.
Which that does kind of like suck. That takes a tad hit to his character, but I don't think it ruins his character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I never had big plans for him anyway. I don't have big, really, like Samura exceeded expectations as a sword bearer, because we just assumed that the sword bearers they were gonna have like a touchy like story and then die, then that their enchanted blade gets dealt with. That's how it kind of like the story felt in the beginning. You know, it's like, oh, we're gonna meet these people. Maybe they live, but we gotta get the enchanted blades back, or what, you know. But with like Uruha in this predicament, I mean, I can see Uruha probably no different like two of these people. Just being real. We know he's like great with the sword, like he has a sword, and now he has his sorcery. So if he can like just cap out two of them quick. Maybe the ball dude. Maybe he's just overconfident.
That's what I'm thinking.
But I see. No, Yura's not about to go sit here and fuck with Uruha. Like Yura might literally change strategies to capture Hakuri. You know, maybe Hakuri is such an important piece. You know what I mean? That he maybe that he like. Well, maybe what I'm saying is maybe we'll get to Yura make a spur of the moment switch of plans, like still go get the Magatsumi, but maybe a quick little detour for Hakuri.
Yeah, like a business decision.
Yeah, he's like, you know what, we're gonna let the we gonna split up here. You know, you two go beat up that little blonde twink Hakuri.
Yeah, man. That kid, I just seen his tie. You know, the one new kid, the strongest. Oh man, he got to do something, bro, because I will be disrespecting him each and every episode until he does something crazy.
He got that shit on for real. He got that Nanami, bro.
Oh man, I don't know. Maybe it's because, you know, it's a schoolboy outfit to go with it, man.
I like him, bro.
He's not rocking that shit like Nanami. Do not mention Nanami.
Oh, but you know, we see he's killing, bro. He killing the fashion game. But yo, like Hishaku and the panel where they do their like invasion. She got those little thigh high boots on too, boy. She still got them things.
Yeah, she rocking the exact same fit, bro.
Damn, she got 38 pairs of them bitches, I bet.
I told you, and this is really no big deal, but she kind of does look a bit younger than I expected. I don't know why.
You sound disappointed, brother.
No, man, don't do me like that.
No, the allegations and stuff. Yo, so as a fellow Hishaku member, how'd you feel about this chapter? Like with all, and I just DM'd you something. The top right panel. My fucking internet is bullshit today. Oh, there it goes. She looks like Hinao in that top right panel. Where he talked about Yu Yawn. She looks a little like Hinao.
Yeah, man.
But but I'll tell you what though, Hokazono, one thing, like people mess with him and the same face thing I get, but like he does know how to make like the female facial expressions very like feminine. They're very like soft and pretty.
Yeah, and unique. Like I think that's especially compared to, you know, most characters. I think you know, especially in like, not because with the far away type of panels, it is obviously always tough to say, and kind of tough to judge as well. But you know, when you see them kind of up close, they have very distinct you know, traits and features and just overall like designs. That's the word I'm looking for. So I wonder the teleportation they're using, the circle, it seems a lot like the Masumi teleportation circle. And I don't think we've seen anyone teleport like that with the you know, the inscriptions. That's kind of sus to me. I'm wondering if that dude, like, if he's like their research and development department of the Hishaku, the guy that was like sewing up his Hirohiko's arm, best genius. Because he was there. He was around the time that they did teleport, so maybe he was like peeping game on like what they use or what what the encryption they write on the ground. Or maybe he just knows it. You said this before I believe before we started recording, but you said that him and Toto feel like the backbone of the Hishaku, and I want to give you full credit because I said I totally agree, and I think it's that type of I think that's kind of the, you know, I told you they're kind of like the glue guys, you know, like the glue guys, like they say in like sports teams, right? It's like
they substance
qualities. Yeah, they're not the, you know, the strongest at perhaps the combat or sorcery. You know, they're not perhaps the best on or at least once again like sorcery to fight. So like anything related to combat and swordsmanship or whatever. But they definitely got sorcery knowledge and IQ, and like he was the guy that, they well, like at the end, like you brought up, they kind of adapted right to the situation because of what happened on the other side with Azaru, right? And I don't know exactly who made kind of like the call to like for it to be the moment, but they adjusted, right? And like Hishaku gives him credit for that, like you adapted, good job. So these guys all got like attributes that as a whole, just, and we've seen it right over and over again, this is what makes the Hishaku dangerous. It's not just you're at the top, right? Or people like Hiko or whatever, or the Pine Sorcery, Hatshaku. It's these other guys as well, and people like Toto, so full credit to kind of like those characters and as part of the team.
Yeah, because like they give their fighters a stage to succeed. You know what I mean? They kind of set the scene. And one thing about Hishaku or she's now Beishaku. I think she may actually be old. It seems like she's very like she talks to everybody like kind of like they're younger than her. She's like, "Oh, you're yawning," but he's yawning because he's actually tired or bored or whatever. She's like very upfront and direct with people, and it seems like she's just calling it as she sees it type of thing. Like she acknowledges the ability for Best Genius to like adapt. She like compliments them. It seems like she might be like and maybe that's just me looking into it because I don't want to get the allegations on me for saying she's Beishaku. But the Hishaku are just ever so impressive to me. Yeah, no, for sure. I do agree with the fact that she's definitely a senior. I believe she's a senior member among the Hishaku, and manga and anime, it's no stranger to young-looking female adult characters. Like, type beat. Yeah. So also, have we seen any like immortality type of technique or sorcery yet? That's kind of what I was wondering when I brought her up earlier in terms of looking a bit younger, because that's type of sorcery and ability could always sneak up on these type of stories. Well, the enchanted blade wielder, she looks young as well. So it could just be a Hokazono art like thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Like it's either the females all look young or they look like grandmas. You know what I mean? It's like they either look 15, they look 15 to 18, or they look 58, 70. 50 to 80. Yeah, I got you. I hear you.
But
I mean, other than that, we see Uruha, and he talks about it's been close to 20 years back and help. So he has confidence in his sorcery. And I mean, I don't think we just see him hold up a finger. Maybe he's about to Ryoiki Tenkai. Maybe that's it. But maybe it's a speed thing. I can't even make heads or tails like of his character, like the character traits that he has. I'm just trying to think of like, when you can kind of like pick something out on a character, like a quirk or a personality trait, and it kind of lends itself to a certain power, like Megami with shadows. What I mean? Megami's kind of like that, like down kid, or
100%.
And things like that. Like Rengoku, like he looks like he's like controls fire, or he can use fire. You know what I mean? From a Demon Slayer. Uruha is just kind of like a blank canvas. Like, my whole thing was I originally said that maybe Uruha had like a problem with being like alone, like he had like just being that anxiety, being alone or whatever, maybe from the war, and that's why before the war, Kunoshige gave him a sword that had like the geisha type shikigami, so it's like he'd never be alone type of thing. But even that, like I can't even make heads or tails of like how that would, because like think about Sojo. What if Sojo's sorcery was actually fire? But he picked up the lightning blade, and now he's like, he cloud gouger, so now he's lightning. Like it seems in this world, like you can just drastically change, your sorcery depending if you use enchanted blade or not.
Yeah, and on the other end of that, I wonder if there are like specific types of sorcery that would align, in the case of these enchanted blade wielders, like with a certain blade suiting them, right? Like, because we know Kunishige handed Kumiyuri to Uruha and told him that this blade suited him, right? And we know that these sword bearers were kind of masters in their own right before they were given the enchanted
He's
blades.
like, here's two bad bitches. This sword got two bad bitches. He's like, this fits you, playboy.
I mean, I was wondering that very same thing. If there's anything that we've seen from Uruha that we're going to be able to look back on once his sorcery does get revealed, that is like, oh, this clearly foreshadowed that. And you brought up kind of something interesting in terms of his personality and whatnot. And I literally just thought of it. But what if it's something crazy like he can clone himself? And it's like, I don't know. It's kind of like the only thing that really came to mind. And yeah, man, just anything we see really. I just want to see how it's gonna make him a more lethal sword wielder, right? Even without the enchanted blade, because like I said, we know that they were masters in their own right. So
yeah,
they gotta have a crazy bag, like mixing sorcery with the swords, even without them being the enchanted blades.
Because I mean, that. If it does relate something to Kumiyuri, the cloning thing, that's a good point. Or maybe him being able to to control his sword telepathically. He can kind of play. Yeah. So he's used to manipulating objects. Mm-hmm. Because then, I mean, if he has because most samurai, they keep two swords on them, their katana and their wakazachi or something like that.
The short one, yeah.
Yeah, the short one. So if he just throws that at him and then he could control it, and he's got a sword coming from behind him and in front of him, like him swinging his, that's a pretty for his ability too, because he's got the AI white purity style. So imagine he's loading that bitch up, and then if you evade that, he's got the wakazashi blade coming behind him. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's just all speculation. That's really it for the chapter. I mean, we got a big matchup. We don't know if Hokazono is actually going to show us what happens with Uruha. Could go back to the Swordmaster.
Yeah, still crazy how Samurai Hishaku just got dealt with off screen. Yeah, we didn't get nothing out of that.
Azami's dead. Azami is everything we thought he was, bro.
Crazy, right?
He's top 5 for me, bro. He's awesome. So funny. He's oh man, they got 3 fighters in here that strong. Azami's man, I don't even, no glove, no love. I don't even need that bitch. Splat, splat, splat. Oh, but man. Now, as a Hishaku member, this is what we do. We're down for this shit. What I'm just gonna throw this out there, and give my Hishaku members some slack here. He was an old man. He was an old man 3 years ago, so he's even older now. So what if he's just past his prime and he's just strong enough to lure out Azami? He's fuck it, I'm ready to die. I got retirement, it's lame.
I mean, that's a tough way to go out either way. You talk about Samurai Hishaku, right?
I don't know, it might be kind of easy. He might just splat you in one hit and he'd be done.
Oh man,
punch me once.
I guess. I mean, he must have had a death wish, bro.
And I mean, we didn't really talk about too much, but the coin flip was just aura.
Yeah, well, I did want to kind of just before, if it's cool, before you get into your theory, we didn't really get into that moment that wraps that whole scene up with when Yura says that the gods are on his side, and we kind of see down the hall that presumably leads to the Swordmaster, right? And once again we see, or not once again, I think it's the first time, if I'm not mistaken, we see Yura's eyes look exactly darkened like the Swordmaster's eyes we've seen before, and we already know that they've struck a similar pose, right? In their kind of respective iconic panels. Yeah. So I don't know if there's any, because I really don't have anything just besides the fact that I think we're gonna get some crazy, I think there's this increasing possibility of there being some connection that we don't know of between Yura and the Swordmaster, and that could easily be a red herring, like a distraction, right? 100%.
And it's a good one too. If it's
yeah, but it's got me wondering. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
This motherfucker, the Swordmaster, is so crazy of a broken ability. What if he's just making humans with his plants? Motherfucker, if you know Trigun, there's like something with plants and like people, but I mean that's not my theory.
Insane.
But like they're like spawns of his, like from like that tree. What if that tree that Hishaku uses was like derived from the Swordmaster's ability or some shit? I don't, like it's all crazy. I don't think none of that's true, by the way. But like the thing is, Hokazono's left the back door open for that to be a possibility somehow. It would take like some supplemental writing to make it work, of course. But like, let Hokazono cook. We say it every episode.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and I'll just proceed this last thing with before your theory. Like we know that the Hishaku, which we don't really know a lot about. His whole thing is like you said, like the tree sorcery, the pine sorcery. Could there be any sort of relation between like their ultimate plans and like the fact that the Magatsumi can spawn like plants? Like is that just a complete coincidence, or is there something perhaps there that we don't know of yet that could ultimately be part of what they're trying to do? Like you said, it's all crazy at this point, and I'm ultimately just being like, ooh, tree plant. Maybe there's something there.
Ooh, there's some grass. There's some grass right there.
Yeah, it could easily be nothing, right? But yeah, I just wanted to once again put that out there. We'll see.
Well, like you bring up, and this is the theory, and this is a crackpot, crazy, like deep off the deep end theory, but I think it holds enough water to at least be viable. So hear me out. Let me cook. The invasion of the Six Paths of Pain in Naruto. This pose, it looks pretty similar to the invasion of the Hishaku and the Kamunabi in this chapter. So think about Yura's eyes. They're very similar to Pain. We got the invasion going on. Hishaku would play a perfect like Nagato controlling basically dead people. That's basically where I'm going at. They have like the piercings in Yura, and they're being called phantoms here. Like it just feels. And by the way, Hokazono's like major inspiration was Naruto. So it's like a crazy theory that what if these are just corpses, and Hishaku has like a tree of life kind of sorcery, where he basically controls the dead, or something along those lines. It may not be exact, note for note the same, but essentially he's using these like phantoms, or maybe they're not all phantoms either, because that young kid may not be a phantom. But this is just like a crackpot theory I thought about.
Yeah,
I don't know. It would be nuts, and it would, just to see, like, that would be a big, huge turn of events. Because like the first person we see is Hishaku in chapter 1. At that, he's not even present here. He's like in the back end. He's like always the one chilling. He's like, I'm thinking that he could be the ringleader, and he's just using a proxy, Yura, kind of like he's the Yahiko. And if you even look, he's in Yahiko's position during the invasion pose that I'll post up.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, he definitely fits that mold of the secret guy that's been really pulling the strings.
And think about this: the Rain Village in Naruto was condemned because of war. Was like a war torn like land.
Mm-hmm.
What was Shikoku?
Oh yeah,
like they had, and there's just this like intrigue that like kind of, I've thought about this for like 2 weeks now, and I thought about not saying nothing because it's kind of crazy, but then this chapter comes out and makes me like, man, there's a possibility that like there's a lot of talks about death. Yura could throw his life on the line because he's already dead. He's like a vessel essentially for like to proceed the agenda of Hishaku, so he can throw Yura's life away here. You know what I mean? It means nothing. And he's like just testing like the luck. Like it's like Hishaku's flipping the coin. It's really like, oh yeah, luck's on my side. I get to keep Yura. It's like,
yeah. I mean, it's crazy because Yura's on the front line and Hishaku isn't, like you just alluded to. So it's like, yeah, it's pretty insane. I mean, we don't know what he's doing, right? But
and I'm titled this episode. The episode this title is the craziest theory, ever. Like, because I've never seen anyone like theorize anything like this about the Hishaku, and I think it's plausible. Unlikely, sure, but I think it is plausible.
Yeah, I mean, I told you it's one of these theories that's like crazy enough for it to be like really interesting, but also not really all that out there when you kind of start putting certain things together, right? In terms of at least what we know now, right? Because obviously with each chapter, things could unfold quickly. But in terms of knowing what we know now in chapter 87, yeah, it's definitely a solid theory.
Yeah, man. And I tell you what, I had a lot of fun this episode. This is a great, like, shout out to Dice, man. I miss making episodes. Like coming back last week, we got a warm reception. Appreciate everybody.
Yeah,
feels
man.
good to be back.
Oh yeah, 100%, man. 100%. Appreciate the love.
Yeah. Any closing thoughts, partner?
Not really, man. Not really. Besides, like, I think you once again mentioned this before we got into recording. This is one of the best chapters. Like, if not, it's always tough to say, right? All of Kagurabachi, but at least recently, like even among this kind of a hot streak that we constantly referencing with Hokazono, this is really a standout chapter because every page, every flip of the page seems to have a standout moment, and I don't think I'm exaggerating.
No, man, you're cooking. So, like we are definitely eating good as Kagurabachi fans. I don't really have any closing thoughts. I said everything and I had to say. Let us know in the comments, what you think of my crazy theory, or any thoughts you had on the chapter. Of course, don't forget to like and subscribe and all that. Dice, anything?
Peace.
All right, y'all. Peace.